Okay, everyone, thank you all so much for coming this afternoon. It turned out to be a really beautiful day for this event. My name is Grace Elton, and I'm the CEO here at New England Botanic Garden at Tower Hill. I want to thank you all for celebrating our recognition as the first botanic garden in the nation to earn Green Zone certification from the American Green Zone Alliance. I'd like to recognize a few groups in the crowd. First of all, I see many people from our Board of Trustees. If our trustees could give us a wave. Thank you all so much. They are essential in guiding the long-term vision and support our mission in so many ways. Also, we have our wonderful partners from the American Green Zone Alliance and Quiet Communities who have guided this process and who are recognizing our work today. Also, we have Congressman McGovern, Representative Ciccolo, and joining us a little bit later, hopefully, will be Mayor Petty. We also got word from Representative Megan Kilcoyne that she regrets not being able to be here, but also is happy to celebrate with us today from afar. I'd also like to acknowledge our garden team who have made this possible, most notably Mark Richardson, our Director of Horticulture, and Robert Graham, our land steward. They're joined with many others in the horticulture team here who are putting all these great things into practice using all this great new equipment. So today we celebrate a milestone. It's one that signals New England Botanic Garden's ongoing commitment to sustainability and our sustainable practices that support a healthy environment and help combat climate change. A few years ago, we made it our mission to weave principles of sustainability into our master plan. And in order to realize the garden's vision, which is a world where people and plants thrive, we knew it would be essential to lead with actions that minimize carbon emissions, that also promote biodiversity and foster a culture of environmental stewardship. Our strategic plan pushes us to take our horticultural operations and the way that we manage our gardens to the next level. And we look at elements of our work through a climate resilience lens. As part of today's event, you'll learn about our efforts to electrify our horticultural operations and also what comes next. We'll welcome Congressman McGovern, Representative Ciccolo, and Mayor Petty to speak to the issues of climate, sustainability, and health. You'll also hear from some of our partners from the American Green Zone Alliance and Quiet Communities. These are organizations that are bringing the Green Zone program to municipalities, parks, and organizations across the country. We are so proud to be the first botanic garden to receive this certification. But we're even more proud to be collaborators in a national effort that demonstrates that it's possible to make these big transitions. By choosing to change, we're choosing a healthier environment and healthier communities for all of us. So now to share more about our efforts, I'd like to introduce the Garden's Director of Horticulture, Mark Richardson. He'll be your MC for the remainder of the ceremony as well. Come on, Mark.
Thank you, Grace, and thanks to all of you for coming out this afternoon. We couldn't have ordered a better day. The weather is just gorgeous today, and what a great time to be in New England. We don't get days like this very often. It's just amazing to have the fall color, the beautiful backdrop of the garden, and just some fantastic weather. So someone's definitely shining down on us today. I also want to acknowledge our partners and thank them for their continued support. Jamie Banks of Quiet Communities and Dan Mabe from the American Green Zone Alliance. We couldn't have made this transition without their support and without their knowledge and know-how. We've been working on this effort to decarbonize our botanic gardens horticultural operations for about 4 years now. I started in September of 2018, and very quickly, we recognized that we wanted to move in this direction to try to replace a lot of our gas-burning, fossil fuel-burning power equipment with electric. And without the great support and the expertise of both Dan and Jamie, we wouldn't have been able to make the transition as quickly as we have. I also want to recognize Robert Graham for all the work that he's done in this space in the last few years. How about another round of applause for Robert? So Grace mentioned our strategic plan. We have 3 pillars in our strategic plan. The first is horticulture, the second is leadership, and the third is engagement. One of the ways that we try to satisfy that leadership role that we want to play in the Botanic Garden community is by supporting our staff in their efforts to learn as much about their trade as possible. Supporting professional development efforts, supporting them in their research. We have staff here who developed expertise in biological controls. We have staff who've developed expertise in design and display, who've, through their experience have developed a lot of expertise that they can continue to operate here in the garden and continue to help us move forward. And Robert's a great example of someone who developed expertise in an area that's quite new. He recognized that Dan Mabe and Jamie Banks, our partners, had this expertise and that he could tap into that to help us make this transition. And I just really want to acknowledge him, let him know how much we support him in his efforts to help us decarbonize here. So far, we've replaced a gas-guzzling 72-inch riding lawnmower with a brand new electric mower that you can see on display here today. We've transitioned just about all of our fleet of utility vehicles over to electric. You can see a couple of our utility vehicles here as well. And we've started to transition all of our handheld power equipment as well. Our string trimmers, our blowers, our chainsaws. And what's really great is this time period has shown that the technology is finally caught up with the demand. And I think that's a testament to folks like Quiet Communities and AGZA pushing the market to develop better technology, and folks like Robert and the horticulture team here really pushing to get better equipment out in the market by demanding it from suppliers. Thanks to all of our vendors for being here this afternoon to also show you some of the newest, latest, and greatest technology. It's just great to see all this equipment finally coming online so that botanic gardens like ours, landscape professionals, and homeowners can finally start to manage their gardens in a more sustainable way. Finally, what I want to mention a little bit about our future plans. So we have some equipment that we have left to replace. The equipment that we have left to replace is the more difficult stuff, the tractors that just really aren't quite available on the market yet, but we hope will be soon. And we're also looking at the ways in which we produce energy on the property. So we'll be putting a solar array on our horticulture barn. That's our base of operations where all of our equipment is charged. And so we'll be able to say that all of our equipment, all of the equipment that we use for maintaining our garden is fueled by the sun. And I'm really proud of that, and that's something that will happen a little bit later this season. So whether you're a horticulture director or a homeowner, we want to make sure that people have the opportunity to adopt electric transitions. We want to shine an example, or we want to serve as a shining example of this type of operation. We also want to demonstrate to people that it is possible to make this transition now. You don't have to wait until the technology improves because the technology is already there. And so it just gives me great pride and great joy to be able to celebrate with all of you this great honor. At this time, I'd like to invite Congressman McGovern to come up and say a few words in support.
Thank you. First of all, I hope you're all impressed. I have a green folder today in honor of this occasion. But let me thank Mark and let me thank Grace and the entire team for having me here today. And it is such a pleasure to be here at this magnificent spot. I mean, there's nothing more beautiful in the world than being here. And so, sometimes we take for granted all the beautiful things here in central Massachusetts, but nothing's more beautiful than this. And Grace, your leadership has been instrumental in making the garden a must-see destination and educational experience in central Massachusetts. And Mark, thank you for all that you are doing here and all the innovative work that's being done here. Look, this is an exciting day, but it's not lost on anyone that this announcement was years in the making. Behind the scenes, your team worked with partners like the American Green Zone Alliance and Quiet Communities to transform your daily operations. And you asked and answered intentional questions like, how you wanted to show up for our community, what example you wanted to set for your team and visitors, and how you could be even better stewards of this land. And you look closely at the data to reduce your carbon emissions by planning to convert all of your equipment from gas-powered to battery-powered electric models. And all of this hard work led to today, and I don't think we can say this enough, where we can celebrate that New England Botanic Garden is the first botanic garden in America to receive Green Zone certification. That's a huge deal, and a lot of people here should be proud of all that you've done to support us getting to this moment. Your work sets a powerful example of the importance of sustainable horticulture and should inspire other botanic gardens and parks and institutions to follow what you have created. I mean, you are a leader in this area, and again, I'm so proud of all that you've accomplished. But the fact of the matter is that each and every one of us are on the front line of fighting the climate crisis, and it's great to see Representative Ciccolo with us, and we appreciate all of her work in the state legislature. But we're all, this is a crowd that understands more than most that our window is shrinking to create a cleaner, greener future for our children and for our grandchildren. I don't know how many of you saw the news today, but the United Nations announced that greenhouse gas levels have reached new highs, furthering an already worsening crisis. They stress that time is running out, and that for all the lofty talk about how we need to do something to reverse climate change and to take on this climate crisis, the report says that nations around the world have fallen pitifully short of meeting the climate goals that we all said that we were committed to. It's never been clearer that now is the time for action. And I think that what you have accomplished here today, in addition to setting a good example, actually increases the pressure on the powers that be that we need to move faster and we need to be bolder in the actions that we take. In Congress, I was proud to vote for the Inflation Reduction Act, which, even though you can't tell by the title, includes the largest amount ever that has, in terms of investing in monies to combat the climate change. I mean, it is a bold first step, but it is still not enough. But that legislation will create 1.5 million clean energy jobs, work to reduce carbon pollution to unprecedented levels, reduce our dependence on big oil, and save families money by lowering energy costs. There's money in there to help our farmers adapt to the impacts of the climate crisis. Money for innovative projects that spring up in our local communities. And here at the Garden, you are all doing more than playing your part by establishing yourself as a leader in combating climate change. So your choice to aim for this certification isn't just good news for our planet, but it makes you even better neighbors. And you're contributing to cleaner air and protecting the local ecosystem, and all of us benefit from that. So thank you again for having me to be part of this big celebration. This is a major milestone in your ongoing commitment to sustainability, and know that I will do everything I can to support your efforts whenever and wherever you need me. This really is inspirational. I'll just close with this. If you turn on the news, there's just lots of bad stuff that comes across our airwaves. But coming up here at this beautiful location on this beautiful day, I mean, and being here when you make this announcement, it gives me hope. It should give all of us hope. We can do this. We can be better stewards of this planet. We can combat this climate crisis. We need to follow your example. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Congressman McGovern, for those great words. At this time, I'd like to invite Representative Michelle Ciccolo.
Thank you, Mark. It's so good
good to be here with all of you this afternoon. I'm incredibly excited about what's happening here at the Botanical Gardens. Grace and the trustees and all the staff, your work is impressive and inspirational. And we are blessed that you are leading the way in this regard so that other places, other botanical gardens and other communities can follow. Congressman McGovern, your presence here today shows that you know how important and vital this work is, and I'm just thrilled that you are here. So I'm Michelle Ciccolo from the 15th Middlesex District, which includes Lexington and part of Woburn and a small slice of Winchester come redistricting. So you might wonder, why am I here at an event all the way out in Boylston? And I'm here because my community is also on the forefront of this issue. Not long ago, they passed what was the first gas leaf blower ban in Massachusetts. And Arlington followed suit shortly thereafter, and Winchester is now looking at restrictions. And in the lead up to that work, I was previously on the select board in Lexington, and I was watching the noise committee looking at this issue, endeavoring to try to advance regulations and new bylaws. And I was also concerned about the impact that that might have on small businesses who are still trying to do vital landscape work in the community. And that got us thinking about what can we do to support them, and how can we also lead in our own community at the DPW and all of our public works departments around the Commonwealth. So when I got to the legislature, I sponsored legislation specifically to help municipalities in the conversion of their landscape equipment to electric, and to help small businesses convert their equipment through a low interest loan program. And this last session, the bill got farther than it ever got before, making it all the way to the Ways and Means Committee, and we were able to get an earmark in Lexington to begin the work of helping small businesses convert their equipment. So I was extremely excited when I heard from Jamie and Dan, and they are really the leaders in this, both at Quiet Communities and AGZA. They're at the forefront, helping people like me in smaller communities trying to figure out how to do this work. So I was thrilled to be asked to come and talk about what we are doing and to be here to help you celebrate this important day. It is so amazing that this is happening in Massachusetts and that this botanical garden is the first in the country. You will tell other communities and other botanical gardens and other landscapers that this work is possible, because normally we hear it can't be done, it's too expensive, the equipment's not good enough, and workers won't like it, and you are here to prove them wrong. And one other thing I do want to mention, one of the reasons why we also do this work is because of worker safety. That's extremely important. In my community, we're a very progressive community, and we worry that most of our landscape jobs are held by low-income workers, people of color, immigrants, and they are exposed to the very toxic chemicals that come out of two-stroke motors. They are exposed to extremely loud noises that damages their hearing, and it is not, even the vibrations of this equipment is bad for their health. So as we consider the importance not only for the environment, we also have to consider environmental justice and making sure that our workers are able to operate equipment that's safer and cleaner and quieter. So I'm just really thrilled to be here with all of you today. This is an important event, and I look forward to many more of these types of certifications across Massachusetts going forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative Ciccolo. So Mayor Petty is joining us this afternoon, but he just got here. So I think we'll just change around the order of speakers a little bit. And so at this time, I'd love to invite Jamie Banks to come up and say a few words. Thanks, Jamie.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you so much for having us here at this wonderful celebration and this gorgeous place, and all the kind words that have come out. We're very honored to be here. My name is Jamie Banks. I'm the president of Quiet Communities. We're a national nonprofit organization helping to reduce harmful noise and pollution in land care and other sectors and create quieter, healthier, and more sustainable communities. Quiet Communities is nearly 10 years old. We were founded to provide science-based education, outreach, and assistance to organizations and communities interested in clean, healthy, sustainable solutions in landscape maintenance. A study we conducted with help from the EPA revealed that gas-powered equipment produces millions of tons of toxic exhaust and carbon dioxide every year. We published research that explained why loud noise from gas equipment travels over long distances and can be easily heard in homes, classrooms, and offices. These types of noise and pollution affect our health, our ecosystems, and our planet. Fortunately, advanced technology and low-impact practices are paving the way to change. I was fortunate enough to meet Dan Nabe, president of AGZA, the American Green Zone Alliance, 9 years ago. We've been collaborating ever since to help the land care industry nationwide transition to low-impact practices. Dan conceived the AGZA Certified Green Zone program. It's a structured program of implementation involving education, training, equipment and infrastructure recommendations, and what we call ELF, or Environmental Landscape Footprint Analysis, so that we understand the reduction in impacts that occur when we make these transitions. It's a program designed to make enduring change to healthier, more sustainable practices. An AGZA certified green zone is a defined area of land on which, at minimum, routine maintenance is performed without the use of two-stroke engines, like those used in gas leaf blowers, string trimmers, and saws. Tower Hill's aspirations are greater, though. They are going way beyond that first level by also replacing gas vehicles and mowers, installing solar charging, planting natives, and employing organic practices. Transitioning an industry to new technology is a formidable challenge. It needs committed leaders like Gail Elton, Mark Richardson, and Robert Graham, and all of the team members that they work with. As the first botanic garden in the nation to establish an AGZA certified green zone, Tower Hill is a model for the state, the region, and the nation. In creating the green zone, Tower Hill's maintenance operations eliminate 54 tons of carbon dioxide each year, equivalent to that absorbed by more than 2,200 trees, and in addition, between 4 and 5 tons per year of toxic and carcinogenic pollutants. Noise from equipment is cut by half or more, helping to reduce harm to workers and creating a more enjoyable visitor experience. And fuel spillage, toxic waste, and costs of operations are also reduced. Imagine how great these impacts will be as other gardens and communities follow Tower Hill's example. Congratulations, Tower Hill, and thank you for improving our environment, health, ecosystems, and planet.
Thank you, Jamie, for those kind words. At this time, I'd love to invite Mayor Petty.
Thank you, and apologies for being late, and it's a pleasure to be here. I just want to thank Grace for the great work that you do and having me here today. Congressman McGovern, good to see you. I know I missed Jim's speech, but I'm pretty sure he talked about climate change and all the stuff that President Biden has done for climate, coming in, a lot of money going into climate and environmental issues, because Jim McGovern's one of the top leaders in the country right now. So Jim, thank you for everything you do for the environment here in Massachusetts and the country. And I just want to congratulate the entire Botanic Garden on today's announcement. I want to congratulate all the forestry people and green people who are here today, and all the work that you do. You make a difference. Greenery is very important here, especially here in the city of Worcester and in the surrounding towns in Boylston. As we move forward in the world of electrification, it is important to recognize that beyond the noise and exhaust pollution improvements, we are seeing improvements in our health, our cities, and within our poorest neighborhoods. We're seeing a direct correlation between pollution and respiratory issues in our residents of every age. 80% of our chronically absent students suffer from asthma, and we know that this disease has a direct connection to environmental issues. Allergies, bronchitis, and so many other medical issues cause our residents to miss work or school and contributes to the rise in healthcare costs and long wait times at our emergency rooms. The City of Worcester has made incredible strides in rectification and energy efficiency. With the help of the Massachusetts School Building Authority, we spent over $50 million on new roofs, windows, and boilers in our schools. And our last 3 schools that we built have all been built considering energy and how is that going to be used. Nelson Place School is energy neutral, so is in South. And when Dory's built, we actually be able to put in a system where you actually sell back energy when the school's up and running. So these are all important gains. Again, this is not just a long-term investment in energy efficiency, but also in the health of our students and teachers. We're open to the largest municipality-owned solar array right here in central Massachusetts in the city of Worcester. And finally, taking the lack of trees in our poorest neighborhood, making sure we've probably planted since the ice storm, since the Longhorn Beetle, we've probably planted over 30,000 trees here in the city of Worcester. And the surrounding towns still are involved with that. All these improvements make our city healthier, more energy efficient, and more equitable. So again, I want to congratulate Grace. You do wonderful work here, Grace, in the New England Botanical Garden for today's recognition, and let you know you have a great partner here in the city of Worcester. So good luck and congratulations.
Thanks, Mayor Petty. I don't see Dan. Dan here? There he is. Thank you. Thanks, Dan. I'd love to invite Dan up to say a few words as well. Thanks, Dan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mark, I just want to say, Esther and I, we flew in from Southern California a couple of days ago. I think we brought the weather with us. Wow, awestruck. I walked up here this morning and looked out here, and I told Mark and Robert, if AGZA doesn't work out, I'm going to apply. It's so great to be part of this entire day of engagement, outreach, and education for our industry in the community. The fact that Representative Ciccolo, Congressman McGovern, Mayor Petty, Grace, Board of Trustees, your presence here really adds weight and gravity to the example that New England Botanical Garden at Tower Hill is setting. I want to thank the vendors as well. They came here on their own dime to support today. And we know that they have spent, and to your point, Mark, with a lot of pressure by Progress, with Jamie and I and countless others, they have invested tens of millions of dollars, if not more, in their research and development to create the tools that you see behind us today. So we do encourage everyone to take a little lap and go see what's the latest and greatest with all the vendors behind us. So thank you for being here today. I'm Dan Mabe, founder and president of the American Green Zone Alliance. AGZA was started by a group of industry professionals seeking a lower impact path to our line of work in the landscape maintenance industry. I come from the grounds maintenance industry. I worked in the industry as a kid with the man of the house. I had my own gas business as a young adult. And then for some crazy reason, I tried an all-electric business back in the mid-2000s before we even had lithium tools. AGZA is data-driven, and we run on two primary principles: workload and economic feasibility. Of course, we know that worker health is dramatically improved, community health, reductions in CO2, all the criteria of pollution. But we knew that we had to put workload and economic feasibility at the top for this to work. We created the Green Zone certification standards based on these principles to help industry fairly, reasonably, and equitably transition to quieter and healthier operations. Today I have the pleasure to announce the New England Botanic Garden at Tower Hill as the first Botanic Garden Green Zone certification in the U.S. and probably the world. This project was spearheaded by Mark Richardson, Robert Graham, Gail Elton, and many others here. It is the culmination of a lot of work and determination. You are now part of a special group of AGZA certified green zones, which include entire cities, universities, and school districts. We all know it is great and satisfying to be the first at something, whether a track race, test score in a math class, or science project. Bragging rights are fun. But I want to let everybody know what I think the motivations are for this group here. The New England Botanic Garden at Tower Hill did not go through the process of AGZA certification to only be the first. They did this to set the example for all other botanic gardens and grounds maintenance operations in the U.S. They are natural educators on how to treat their lands while maintaining an aesthetic that visitors are drawn to. Why does AGZA know this? It started back in 2016 when Jamie Banks of Quiet Communities and AGZA were here at the gardens, actually part of a state workshop on this very subject. It's also the people who work here. They are selfless and hope their example can lead to more opportunities for others to do the same things they have. You are truly leading by example in the spirit of AGZA Green Zone certification. Thank you. As Jamie mentioned, we also need to recognize Tower Hill's other accomplishments: replacing gas vehicles, larger mowers, installing solar charging, planting natives, and employing organic practices. No easy feat. And finally, I want to mention and acknowledge my longtime and beloved colleague, Jamie Banks of Quiet Communities. Jamie, it's amazing. She called me on the phone. I don't know where she got my number, but she came out to California. She attended a workshop at UCLA, and that afternoon we went to lunch and we set out to change the industry, not just by complaining, but developing a system and solutions. And I could not, and we cannot do this without you. I just really want to thank Jamie Banks of Quiet Communities so much for everything that we've accomplished together, and we look forward to doing so much more with you. And congratulations again to Tower Hill. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. It's great to be a part of the journey of AGZA. So at this time, well, first a quick story. So when we were meeting to talk about this ceremony and what it would look like, Jamie and Dan wanted to do a ribbon cutting. And you know, we do ribbon cuttings here at the garden when we open a new garden, and it feels like you're opening a new space. We felt like that wasn't quite appropriate for this, so we decided we'd build a giant light switch. And I will say, I've been asking everyone for the last couple of weeks, what happens when the light switch goes off? Like, we're going to flip the switch, and what happens? And no one really had any great ideas. And so what I'd like to see happen is when we flip the light switch, I'd like everybody to stand up and applaud. And so at this time, I would love to invite all of our speakers and Robert up to help me flip the light switch in honor of this great, or in recognition of this great honor.
Me? All right.
You gotta count it down, Grace.
So we get a countdown?
Yeah.
There's plenty of room on the
If anyone else wants to grab the switch. Yeah, baby. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Oh yeah. Yep. Before anyone goes away, Dan reminded me that there is a raffle. So we'd love to do the raffle, and then I definitely encourage you to go around and talk to the vendors some more, grab some more food and drink. But Dan, you want to come up?
Somebody lucky is going to win this. Where is Hugh? Come up here. Okay, I don't have my glasses on me, but Hugh, you're going to go ahead and close your eyes.
Taking one out?
All right, taking one out.
The winner is Hugh.
Yeah. Okay. Hugh, why don't you go, or Mark? Someone's going to be the winner of this gorgeous steel electric blower.
All right, the winner of the Steel PGA 57 leaf blower is Janet Hartley.
Janet's still here.
Does she have to be here to
Yeah.
Well, we
Get her phone number.
did say that we got their phone number. They did not have to be there. So.
All right, congratulations.
We can hold it. She can come back and
Okay,
pick it up.
all right. Thank you very much.
You got it.
All right, thank you everyone for coming, and please enjoy the food and drink.
I think so. Okay. Sure.
The trick is to remember to put that on social media.
Right, exactly.
Terrible about that stuff.